to arguably one of the greatest television shows of all time. West Wing is one of these very, very rare shows that I like do a biannual rewatch of. Like I was very, very late. I didn't start watching West Wing till after it was done and off the air and all that kind of stuff. But ever since I discovered it, about every 1 to 2 years, I do a full series rewatch. It's really just that good. It's like one of these rare American television shows that doesn't treat the American audience like they're stupid. It values intelligence. It's a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous show. And despite the fact that it was about politics and all that kind of stuff and one political party and another, like they went out of the way. Like there was one storyline in the show where like the Republican Speaker of the House had to take over the presidency. And guess what? He wasn't a dick. He was actually a super noble, patriotic American and worked with
John Goodman.
John Goodman played that role. He was so good in that role. And he worked with the White House and they made good things happen. You know, it's just a really fabulous show. And I remember, I think it was during the pandemic or last election, they got the original cast back, at least the surviving members, and they reenacted one of the classic episodes just as a big thing to encourage people to go out and vote. It was wonderful. I think it's still on Max. If you haven't checked it out, you should go watch it. Well, now, maybe a couple of actors from the series may be hinting of an announcement of a relaunch of the series. This comes to us from Deadline, who writes the following. Actors Joshua Molina and Mary McCormick are throwing their social media followers into a tizzy with a series of posts suggesting that a reboot of The West Wing is in the works for the drama's 25th anniversary this year. The most recent teaser came courtesy of McCormick, who played Deputy National Security Advisor Kate Harper on the NBC series from 2004 to 2006. On Wednesday, she posted something that X said, something very exciting is in the works. We will be sharing it next week. Stay tuned for the big reveal, January 24th. Now, tagged in that post was all the key main cast of West Wing. Now, in the modern Super Bowl era, we have seen things like this where it looked like a celebrity, an actor, studio was promising something big, and it turned out just to be an advertisement for a Super Bowl ad. And maybe that's the case here. But some of the analysts I've been reading are suggesting that, no, actually, they really could be talking about a new era of the West Wing that's in the same universe as the original West Wing with even some returning characters. Now, we're going to have to find out in 2 days. January 24th is when they're supposedly making this announcement. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Factor. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery store and prep work because you know what? Sometimes we just don't feel like prepping our own meals. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rushed dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. And Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep me going no matter what's on the schedule. It's time to skip the overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. And Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So guys, head to factormeals.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 to get 50% off. That's code Campea50 at factormeals.com/Campea50 to get 50% off. Rob, is West Wing something you can bring back? And is it a type of show that could work today? And let's assume, for argument's sake, that the Grandmaster himself, the writer,
Aaron Sorkin.
Let's assume for a moment that if it's happening, it's a big if, let's assume for the sake of the discussion that Aaron Sorkin's attached. Is this something that could work today? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know in terms of canon, a continuation. If they continued it, I don't think that you could see Martin Sheen as president again because he couldn't do that.
No.
But you could. I think
but he could be in the show.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I've always thought of the West Wing as Star Trek in the American political scene because
That's actually a really good comparison.
You know, it's a group of people led by a captain that are trying to do good. You know, and I think that the American political landscape, and especially today's political landscape, has gotten a little crazy. So doing a West Wing, updating it to today and addressing the issues of today could be very relevant. And bringing back these characters because they've moved on with their lives. Where are they now? You know, and obviously Martin Sheen's still around. We don't have Leo McGarry. He passed away.
Right. While the original show was still on.
Yes, on the and you've got there's other people around, like even Alan Alda and Jimmy Smits. You know, because the show ended with them, the election coming up, and they played the two characters that were, so they could be around. What happened to them? So there's a rich legacy they could draw on, and if they wanted to do a new West Wing show and update it and have a whole new West Wing cast, but have these other characters still be peripherally involved, bring it on. And if Aaron Sorkin could have some kind of involvement or co-create the show or something like that, I mean, if it was the House of the Dragon
That's another good comparison.
You know, if it was something like that, except instead of a prequel, it's a sequel, I'm all in. I'm all in. Because I think that, you know, people now talk, well, I don't want to talk about politics. But The West Wing was a show about politics. But it was about how it was like America's best face forward. And I want to see that again.
I'd be really down for it. Now, here's the big question, though. Is this announcement on the 24th an announcement of the West Wing coming back? And I am dubious of that.
Too.
Again, especially with Super Bowl right around the corner, and we've seen this kind of gimmick before. I'm going to say 20% chance they're actually announcing a return of West Wing. So I think not likely. What do you think the chances are?
Okay, I think as a series, probably not. But I could see this as an event film. You know,
I'd be down for that too.
And the movie could actually be a backdoor pilot for if it does well. If it's embraced, then they could spin it off into a series.
Is that NBC West Wing when it used
Yes.
to show?
Yeah.
So does that mean like if they announce something on streaming, it would be on Peacock?
Yeah,
Or are they
probably.
owned by someone else now?
More
Well,
than
if
likely.
it was going to be an NBC show, it would be on NBC. But NBC could say they're making it a streaming show, and they could make it Peacock, or they could do both.
But I would look at something like Frasier. You know, if they can bring Frasier back, and it was pretty good. Night Court comes back. But Frasier, I didn't think that was actually going to work. Like, how are you going to do that? And I think they made it work.
Yeah,
And-
the Frasier one has gotten some pretty decent responses. The Night Court one, not so much.
No.
But, I mean, we'll see. We'll find out in a couple of days, guys. Yeah. Hey, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.